Shalom, I'm Rabbi Stephen Sachs. A self-fulfilling blessing, Parshat Tavo 5780. Jews have long been accused of controlling the world. The protocols of the elders of Zion, respected official after official, even in modern times, has claimed that the Jews control the world, the Jews control American foreign policy. We've heard it over and over again, and we still hear it today. I suspect that this idea may originate from a passage we actually read in the Parsha. Hashem Elokecha Elyon al kol gaei haaretz. Hashem, your God, will place you above the nations. God will place us above the nations. Does this mean, like anti-Semites suggest, that Jews control the world? Ibn Ezra says that the blessing means that the Jews will not be like the other nations. Now, this sounds elitist, quite honestly. It really does. You're not going to be like everyone else. It sounds like you're going to be better than everyone else. But if you stop and think about it, it makes sense, and not in an elitist type of way. God commands Avram to leave Mesopotamia. Why? Because it was a tyrannical type of society. That's demonstrated by Migdal Bavel, the Tower of Babel. He tells him instead to go to the backwaters of Canaan. It's a case of reverse migration. Mesopotamia was the cosmopolitan capital of the day. That's where the culture, the arts was, the money was made in Mesopotamia. He's telling Abraham to go to the backwaters of Canaan. Then God takes Bnei Israel, the children of Israel, out of Mitzrayim, out of the house of bondage. Another case of reverse migration. Egypt was also the cosmopolitan capital of its day. Art, culture, you wanted to make money, Egypt was the place to be. Instead, God takes Israel out and takes them to Eretz Israel, to the land of Israel. Another case of reverse migration. Why? Because it's a polemic against the tyranny of Pharaoh. I remember being in college, and I'm from Long Island, but I remember kids from upstate New York saying, when I graduate college, I can't wait to go to New York, to the Big Apple. That's where the nightlife is, that's where the jobs are, that's where you make money. People want to go from small towns often to larger, more cosmopolitan type of places. So why does God take Bnei Israel out of Egypt? Why does he take Abraham out of Mesopotamia? He takes Israel out, Bnei Israel, the children out, so he could bring them to the backwaters of Canaan, and there they can build a better society, a society that's supposed to be a model for the rest of the world. When he brings Bnei Israel to Eretz Israel, to the land of Israel, or Canaan as it's being called, God explicitly tells the children of Israel, you're not supposed to copy the Canaanite ways. You're not supposed to sacrifice your children to Moloch. You're going to behave better than that. You're not going to behave in a tyrannical fashion as they did in Mesopotamia, as Pharaoh did. Rather, the Torah limits the power of those who have power. This was revolutionary. In the ancient world, any sort of what we would maybe call constitutional really law was used to increase the power of those who already had power. The Torah says, no, we're going to limit the power of those who already have power. You're going to remember what it was to be like a slave in Mitzrayim in Egypt, and instead of saying, now it's our opportunity to enslave others, no, not going to do that. What are you going to do? You are going to remember how it was to be a slave and treat others who don't have power in a compassionate fashion. What the Torah is really saying, what Ibn Ezra is really saying is, you're going to live differently than you've seen people live in the past, than the Canaanites have lived in this land. And because of that, you're going to build a better society. Ibn Ezra is really saying this is a self-fulfilling bracha, blessing. You're going to perform the mitzvot, and through the performance of the mitzvot, you'll behave differently than those who lived there before. You'll behave differently from the Egyptians. You'll behave differently from the Mesopotamians. And because of that, you're going to build a kinder society where people are less likely to be left behind. The job of Bnei Israel is to build that model society, Ki mitzionu tetzei Torah udvar Hashem Yerushalayim, that from Zion shall go forth Torah and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. And we're told when the nations follow our example, the promise God made to Abraham will be fulfilled. And all the families of the world will bless themselves through you. Our job is to teach the families of the world Torah, and they in turn will learn it and will be blessed because they too will observe these precepts of loving kindness.